posture is conscientious, right? It's not just automatic pilot. It's just not like, okay, I'm just hanging, I'm just sitting. It's a little bit more of that, you know, let's be conscious of what we're doing. This is a posture class. I know a couple of you have not been here before. So those of you who have not been here before, I'm going to invite you to stay after class, and I'm going to take some photos of you. And I take it into my little computer in Photoshop, and I just create these nice little grid lines. And none of us are symmetrical. I want everyone to know that for sure. Okay, so don't worry about that when you see that. We're all asymmetrical. That's how we're built. But there are certain posture things that you will notice, and I will try to point that out, just to kind of point it out and say, like, notice how maybe this foot is out a little bit, or you're overarching your back. So some of those things that you can be aware of and correct. Some things, you know, it's just the way you're built. So that'll be after class if anybody's interested in that. Okay, so I'll just put that on the side. All right, so welcome. And we're going to use the block to start with, because we're talking about good posture. This I got from Panush. And I love this, and I always want to encourage you to do this at the very beginning of class, because you know when we start class, we always kind of start quiet, we breathe, then we start to work on our necks. This is a really good time to use this block. So you're basically putting it behind you like this. Make sure it doesn't slip through the cracks, but it usually doesn't. So you're kind of snugging it as close as you can to the back, and then you're going to sit. Okay? So the idea here is that you're sitting with your spine tall and erect without you feeling like you're like a soldier and just like holding on really as tight as you can.
This would be good in the library.
I know, those chairs are
The
really
chairs make you slip down. I sit
Yes.
at the very edge of the chair.
I do
and
too,
still
and there's a
slip
lot
down.
of work. If you sit at the edge of your chair all the time, which I do when I work on the computer, it's just my nature. I think that's why I have good posture, because I'm creating that environment for myself, but it could get tiring. This, I think, is the best of both worlds. It takes you in the right posture, but you don't have all this effort all the time, okay?
What
So
about sitting on a wall in front of the computer?
I heard that is great. I've never done it. I've seen the balls before. It's the same concept, because you're gonna fall off the ball if you're leaning, right? If you're crooked, you're gonna be falling off. So it creates that same sensation of you're trying to keep your structure upright in order to balance.
Oh, wow.
So,
You know,
yeah.
outside of Walgreens,
Yeah,
they had all these little balls for children.
yeah.
I
Yeah.
Well,
might
this is,
just
I'm
get
talking
one.
about a
Yeah,
big ball.
she's talking about the big ball.
Oh, the big
Almost like-
balls.
Does anybody remember the hippity hops? You remember that, you're my age. We did the hippity hops, and we used to go on the ball like that. So it's
Oh.
that ball.
Oh,
It's
that
huge,
ball, I
right?
get
Marilyn,
the
it's a
gist.
huge ball,
I
yeah.
get the gist.
Yeah, right.
I took a balance class and we used those balls, and that's what she told us, except in the class they had something that we put the ball in, so
Oh,
it's a
we roll, oh, I
it's a-
see.
Like an egg cup.
Yeah, like an egg cup, that's true. But the same concept, no back, right? So no back creates that same idea that we're talking about. If you don't have a back, that means it's just totally your back and your core that's getting strong to hold you up. So this is like step one in getting that to be strong. Eventually, if you get those muscles strong, you just take this away, and here we are. I've got a gap behind there, and I'm sitting up tall, and there's no effort. But right now, this is good to start with. So I'm reading a
But
posture
not
book.
depend on,
Mhm. Pardon?
in terms of as the reminder
Mhm.
to sit with a more erect spine.
Right.
It's not creating an imbalance by continuing to use it as a guide.
What, the block? Oh, no, I don't think so at all.
Okay.
I think it's much, much better to be using it and have good posture. I don't think it's not like a crutch, so to speak. It's not like a
Thanks,
crutch.
Sherry, for clarifying.
Yeah, it's not like a crutch. It'll help you get stronger though. So as most of you know, I'm reading a posture book, actually about 3 of them, and this one I really like this little concept. He was showing a picture, I have to go sideways so you guys can see, of someone sitting like this. Okay, this is kind of common, right? And someone sitting like this. Both of us are still using the back of the chair. One's like this, one's like this. So this is the first one, this is the second one. So he said, what's the difference between the first and the second person?
Bent over the first person.
Yeah?
Well, your spine is curved,
Curved,
and so
right?
your organs are being squeezed with
Mhm.
it.
Exactly.
And you're not breathing right.
Yeah, good point, good point, yeah, it affects not just your spine and your bones, but your organs. What he said, which is so simple, is that the second person,
Most people sit that way.
yeah, I know, the second person is just doing this with more conscientiousness. I like that term, right? Conscientiousness.
So conscious.
Yeah, I mean, think about if you had an employee and you would say, that person is so conscientious, right? And what does that mean? That person is probably paying attention. They're trying to maybe go slow and be more mindful and try to do things the right way. Everybody wants a conscientious worker, right? So posture is conscientious, right? It's not just automatic pilot. It's just not like, okay, I'm just hanging, I'm just sitting. It's a little bit more of that, you know, let's be conscious of what we're doing. So now with the block behind us, we can feel a little more, right? But the posture
At
is
the
still
end of
fine.
the day, my back might hurt if I,
If you sat like this too long, you're saying.
no, if I don't have the posture.
Oh, right,
Because as you
yes.
said,
Yes.
get your shoulders
Mhm.
bent, so I remember to do that, and I don't have
Yeah.
that back pain at the end of the day.
See how
That
nice is
helps
that?
a lot.
We
Yeah.
all need that picture of you, Sherry,
Mhm.
that we can scotch tape to the refrigerator and
No, I've got posture issues too.
the bulletin board.
Yeah.
You had mentioned that you've really developed a practice of becoming more mindful
Mhm.
about it because you've experienced the positive effects of that from the inside out.
Yeah, absolutely. And most of you know this, but I came to yoga, first of all, for stress, because I worked on the computer a lot, and secondly, for neck and upper back issues. And my shoulders rolled forward, my neck would get all tight. I mean, this is how I work, you know? And now I'm more mindful. I drive differently, right, with the stick shift, when I'm not, using the stick shift. You have a stick shift from that Packard? Of course, right?
Big shift.
Yeah, so, when you have a stick shift, you kind of hover on that stick shift a little bit. You're kind of holding on to it. Look what I'm doing with my shoulder the whole time I'm driving. So I realize when I'm not shifting, I don't need to do that. I can be like this, or I can be on the wheel like this in a good alignment. So all I want to do when I take these pictures of you is not to bum you out. I want to make sure everybody knows that. Because I'm sure you go home and start crying, like, oh my gosh, look at these pictures. I want you to be aware of something that maybe you weren't aware of before. If one shoulder is rolling forward and your hips are tilted a little awkward way, then catch yourself doing that. Right now, I catch myself doing this all the time. I have one foot that slightly turns out. I'm like, oh, there it goes again. Here we go. Just straighten it up, So that's what I want to do, because everybody knows that in 6 months, I'm taking pictures of everybody again. And I really do, I'm betting, I'm not a betting girl, but I'm betting that there's going to be improvements just through awareness. So that's what this class is all about, is just getting a little bit more granular about our posture. So we're going to close our eyes and just kind of get settled in. And just feel your feet solid on the ground. Their toes are facing forward, right? Your ankles right underneath your knees, so you would feel that kind of beautiful alignment. And anytime that block feels awkward or uncomfortable, you always can move it. So and let's take a nice deep breath. Bring the shoulders up towards the ears, and exhale, roll them back and down. So inhale, roll them up. Exhale, roll them back and down. 2 more times, and make sure the arms are moving with you, not just the shoulders. And then place your palms flat on your thighs. Soften your face. So in our mind's eyes, this is what we want to see in our alignment. We want to see our ears over our shoulders and our shoulders over our hips. So that's the alignment we want to keep when we're sitting up nice and tall. So take a deep breath. We're going to just take the chin down slowly. So just let everything kind of slowly stretch at the back of the neck. Find the little tug, the little pull, that little stretch. It should feel good, never painful. If you ever get that sharp pain, you'll always back out. And now right ear, right shoulder. And then move the chin all the way back down until you come to the other side, until you go left ear, left shoulder. And back around. Just a couple times, half neck circles. And when your chin comes down again, I want you to inhale, lift your eyes open. Good, let's all turn towards the double door. So just take a nice turn. And just see how far you can go, just with that little head turn. Back to the center, and we'll look the opposite way. Good, now I want you to bring your hands in front of you like you have a wheel, like you're holding the wheel of a car, and we're gonna look behind us, but I want you to actually take your torso a little bit that way. So you're moving your head all the way and your body. Good, see how far you can go. See much further than just the neck. Come all the way back. And then we're gonna go all the way, come on in, honey, yeah. Come all the way back to the other side. And all the way back to the center. Good. And then release it. Good. So that's an important thing to think about when you're backing out of your driveway, that you feel that maybe you're gonna stop at that limitation of your neck, but actually you take that whole upper body and you'll go a lot further. Stretch. Okay, good. We're gonna move into the shoulders a little bit. So I want you to take one arm out. You're gonna make a fist with the thumb facing forward. Yeah, so fist with the thumb facing forward, good. So that is perfect alignment of your shoulder and your arm bone, and your arm is as high as your shoulder, so it's not dropped like this, right? It's high, good. And then we're gonna circle, circle. So no wrist and no elbow move, just the arm bone, good. Round and round. Good, now come back to neutral, flip it all the way back. Can you get your thumb all the way back to point back behind you? That is rotating your arm in the socket the opposite way. So let's go forward. I want everyone to put their other hand on your arm, right here on the front arm. This is what I want you to feel. This rotation backwards. Everybody feel that muscle that we're moving? That's your pectoral muscles. That's the one we want to move. One more time. Now for me, there's sometimes a little popping and a clicking there. Okay, so we're just getting into the joint one more time. And now when we go back, thumb is back, and we're going to do the circle backwards. So this is probably one of the most important moves for all of us to do if we have rounded shoulders. So this is that movement right here. This is the muscle we're stretching. And then we're working into the socket. Good, bring it all the way down. Shake that arm out. Okay, so to the other side, make a fist, thumb facing forward. And then we'll go round and round. Just the arm bone, not the elbow. Now we're going to do that straight up, flip it back, see how much you can get the thumb back, good. Forward again, take your hand to the opposite shoulder, and I want you to feel that muscle. I want you to feel that engage. The pectoralis muscle has two, major and minor. And those are the muscles we need to stretch. That's what we're doing. When you're back with your thumb, you let go of your hand and we're going backwards. Does that feel like some work that we're doing?
Yeah.
We really are. We are opening up that space there. Good. And then release it all the way down. Shake it out. Now we're going to do both. So this gets a little more challenging actually. And I've noticed this in the photos, you guys. Just so I want to point something out. I'm working on this. I don't know the reason why. But if you, the people who have had the photos, if you do go into cactus arms at the wall, it's harder for you to do both arms versus one arm. I don't know why that is. Because, you know, you would think if you split your body in half, you're basically doing the same thing on both sides. But it's interesting. So one arm goes back easily and the other arm doesn't go back easily, but both arms. Let's do both arms going back. Good. Then arms out, we're going to do that thumb thing again. So thumbs forward, knuckles, good. Yeah, maybe scoot over just a little bit. And then we're going to round and round. Remember, wrists aren't moving. Good, round and round.
So we're trying to keep our shoulders down.
Down, yeah. They come up a little bit as you come up, but just kind of keep the whole feeling down, yeah. And then we're going to come back. This way, let's flip it a couple times forward so you get that sensation, right? No, thumbs facing forward, Sandy, towards me. Yeah, not down, good. Then they go back and they go backwards. Yeah, that's it. Arm bones are moving, good. And then backwards, and here we go, back and around. Good. This is a lot of work. I feel it. Good, and then release it. Good, oh yeah. So those are the muscles of your rotator cuff as well, right? So just move around. Those muscles get strained when you pick up things in the wrong alignment. Good, the other way, little swim. Now we're going to work the shoulder in a different direction. Take your hand out in front of you with your palm facing in, and we're going to reach all the way up. kind of hug over here and see if your arm is touching your ear, everybody. How does that feel? Do you feel that? Okay.
Yep.
Yeah, look at, he goes like this, yeah. Okay, good, back down. Other arm out in front, drop your shoulders a second, good. And then bring it up, and then kind of hug it in just to see if you can get it a little closer to your ear. Yeah, that's it, good. And then release it down. Okay, now, one arm up, opposite leg up. Flex the foot. Oh, I've heard those joints. I love the sound of cracking joints.
What does that mean? Is it air?
It's air pop, they said it's like with air, little capsules in there that kind of pop. I always say it means you have mobility. If your joints don't crack, then there's nothing going on there, right? Okay, now we're gonna just do back and forth. Yeah. So look at the alignment here. Knee, ankle, toes facing up, everything straight, like you're in between two walls. You can't go beyond that. Good. One more time, each side. Good. Now let's reach both arms up. So let's see how healthy our reaches are for the shoulders. Good. And then bring it down, hold on to the chair, both feet up. I know the block's behind you, so do the best you can. Good. And then release it. Okay, now we're going to take a block away because we're going to do some twisting. So we might use this again, so we'll just kind of put it off to the side. So part of good posture is good mobility, right? I mean, you can be a statue and be frozen in place, but part of the spine is meant to twist side to side. So we're going to do a little bit of that now. We're going to take it into the hug, and we're just going to gently go side to side. Now, if you want to, and do a little bit more back and core work, you scoot up, right? Like you pretend the block is there, and you scoot up. Otherwise, you feel free to go back and forth. Now, head the opposite way than the shoulders. Look the opposite. Get the neck to really stretch a little bit over that opposite shoulder. Good. Back to the center, hands forward as you grab your elbows, and here we go, the same way. So just go one way with your head and shoulders, and then the other way. Now opposite, head one way, shoulders the other way. And then come back to the center, fingertips are gonna touch, so every time we go wider with the arms, we go bigger with the twist. So here we go, same way, head and shoulders, twisting the body. Again, pretend like you're driving and try to look all the way behind you, so get down a little bit lower in the back as you twist. Head and shoulders opposite direction. This is a little bit more challenging, so there's a little more twisting going on.
I hear all kinds of noises.
Oh yeah, such music our bodies play for us, huh? Come back to the center, big stretch. Watch your neighbor though here. Here we're gonna go. Both head and shoulders same way. Feel those arms stretching, feel those shoulder muscles, right? When you're reaching back, you're really pulling that arm back behind you a little bit more. Good. Come back to the center and then release. Good. And shoulders should be calm. Okay, so this time I do want you to scoot back because we're gonna do the cactus lean. I got this one from Norma. She said this one felt so good. She's a little kyphotic. Anybody ever heard that, before you do that, anybody ever heard the word kyphotic? You've heard of kyphosis? Hunchback.
Oh.
That's what that is. Kyphotic is this sensation of a rounded back.
Why do people get that?
They get that for various reasons, right?
So many
Part of it is
people where I
posture.
live
Yeah.
that.
And what starts it, I believe, is the head jutting forward. The head jutting forward starts that because you are now adding more weight to your physics of your body that your body has to compensate by holding your head up and your shoulders like this. And then this gets really super tight, and then what happens, if you are very prone to osteoporosis, you will have a fracture in your spine that will keep you like that. So the people who really have the hunchbacks, they have fractured spines, basically. So we want to avoid all that, but so Norma had a little bit of that kyphosis, and she says it's helped so much now doing yoga, and this is one of them. She says it really helps her. So we're going to do it for Norma. Okay, so the elbows are up. So remember, we're going to try as best we can whenever we're in cactus, elbows as high as the shoulders. That's going to get us lined up at the wall. And now we lean back. So the back of the chair, depending on how tall you are, I know Michael's a challenge for you. The back of the chair is kind of right there in your upper back. And then you're just going to lean a little bit. Just let the shoulders roll back. Now your chin, don't let it just fall back. There's a little bit of effort holding your chin strong. You can even tuck it a little if you want to. Keep it safe. And then maybe just let go of the arms back a little bit. Bring them forward. And exhale, let them go back a little bit. And bring them forward. So what we're doing is just nudging into those front chest muscles, those pectoralis muscles, good. Slowly, we're gonna come all the way up. Good, bring your palms and your elbows together. So this muscle group, I want everybody's elbows to be as high as their shoulders. Yeah. This muscle group right now that you're stretching are your rhomboids. They're the opposite of what your pectoral muscles do. So here's your pectoral muscles, right? When we go back, we're stretching them in front of the chest. And when we come forward, the elbows touch and the palms touch, we're stretching the rhomboids. When we go back here, guess what? The rhomboids are working really hard now. So when you hold here, I want you to squeeze your shoulder blades together like you have a ball right here in between your two shoulder blades. That's called the back cleavage. That's what I want you to feel like. You're squeezing, squeezing. Everybody can feel that? If you cannot feel any muscles squeezing, that means your rhomboids are weak. Bring it back all the way.
So we're holding a golf ball back there?
Yeah, well, golf ball, I was saying a tennis ball because it's a little bit bigger, but a golf ball would really be squeezing tight, right? So that's the sensation you want to have, okay? So what happens, so let me just tell you, when you have this kyphotic posture, those rhomboids, the ones that are basically right in between your shoulder blades, they get so stretched out, right, that that's called being locked long. Those muscles are stretched out and they're locked in place. Many of you know that I go around and give people massages. I know immediately when their rhomboids and their shoulders are locked long. They're hard as rocks. Their muscles are basically frozen like this, right? So what's happening then in the front? These are locked short. So these little muscle fibers, think about a rubber band it's just kind of gotten a little shorter and they get locked there. So what's the most important part of getting our shoulders open? Do you think it's stretching these muscles or strengthening these muscles to pull us back? What would you say?
Back muscles.
Back ones, okay. Anybody
Front.
else? You got a 50-50 chance.
I
Okay,
said
front.
Yeah,
The fronts are more important because in order for those to pull together, these have got to be loose, right? These have got to be loose. Think about physics, right? You're pulling together something that is so locked tight. So in order to get this to squeeze, these have to be open. That's why I spend so much more time with these poses and leaning back and stretching and bringing an arm back than I do with that little squeezing, okay? So that's what I want you to do when you're, around your house or whatever. All of that stretching, okay, all of this is the good part. Let's do one more. I like this one and we do this one a lot. But this one actually is a little kinder because this one gets challenging sometimes. One arm out in front, let's say left arm. Make a fist, thumb is up. We're going out one finger at a time. So we go 1, 2, 3, 4. But we keep going and we keep going and we keep going until that arm is so far back that we feel this beautiful stretch across the shoulder. Turn your head now to the right. Yeah, so here we got neck and shoulder stretching. Good. Back over to look at the hand and we're coming back in one finger at a time backwards. 4, 3, 2, and 1. And we come back to the thumb. We'll do one more time. 1, 2, 3, and 4, as far as you can go. So you just keep going until it stops. Turn your head the opposite way. Good, look back at the hand again, and we're going back in. 4, 3, 2, and 1. Good, and release, other side. Make a fist, here we go. 1, 2, 3, 4, keep pulling, keep going until it gets tight. Turn your head to the left, all the way. Back to the right again. Back in, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Here we go. One more time. 1, 2, 3, and 4. As far as you can go. Turn your head the other way. Back to the right. And back in. 4, 3, 2, and 1. Now we're going to do both. So I want you to scoot back a little bit because we're going to go really back far as much as we can. So you're leaning back. We're going to go. Both fingers are going out. Here we go. 1, 2, 3, 4. Really far back. I want you to lean. I've never seen anybody flip over, okay? So just slowly lean. Oh yeah, let those arms go back. Let those muscles stretch. Let's take a nice deep breath here. Exhale, let it stretch. Come back in one at a time. 4, 3, 2, and 1. We'll do one more. Here we go. 1, 2, 3, 4. Big stretch, big stretch, big stretch. Good. A little flap. Up and down just a little bit. Feel those muscle fibers stretching. Good. And then back in. 4, 3, 2, and 1. Good. All the way back. And then release. Close your eyes. Sit back. And I just want you to Oh, just notice how you're feeling. Maybe take a deep breath, see if the breath seems a little more expansive. That twisting motion loosens up the rib cage a little bit so the breath can come in. And see maybe just with your eyes closed, turn your head side to side. See maybe if your neck feels a little looser.
Magic.
Good, magic, huh? Good, open your eyes. So who saw the 60 Minutes on Sunday about the 90-year-olds? Come on, let me see you raise your hand.
Yeah.
Nobody, yeah. So that was really interesting.
And they say you could be a little fat.
I know, we like
I
that.
like that part.
What?
It's like, no, okay, let's talk about all the good things they said. You can be fat, you can drink wine.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter really what you eat. What's the other one? Oh, you can have high blood pressure.
This is,
This is a study of 90-year-olds that they actually did at Leisure World, Leisure Village. Up
Leisure
in,
Village.
yeah, Laguna Niguel up there. And so they've been following them since
In
the
LA?
80s. No, in Orange County.
in Orange County.
Yeah,
Well,
so they've been, they've been following them and the ones that have lived into their 90s.
Would you repeat that? I couldn't hear what you said.
Okay, so these are all the things they said that are okay to do, you know, when we hear differently in order to age into your 90s.
You can be fat.
You can be fat, you can be, I don't know if they said fat, they didn't say that.
Fat.
You
No,
can
not
carry
fat.
more weight
Yeah.
than what they've normally said,
Yeah.
okay? So you can put on some pounds. You can have high blood pressure, which helps you in your 90s. They're not saying it helps you in your 60s, but it helps you in their 90s. Drink wine every day, or alcohol. They said it's just not just wine, it could be alcohol.
How much?
Well, not a whole lot.
Most of them were saying they drank a glass of wine. That's what I heard, right? Did we hear like they drank a glass of wine? They weren't like guzzling the bottle.
No.
And the other thing is like they don't really watch what they eat a lot. It's not like only fruits and vegetables or no cholesterol or, yeah, it wasn't any of that. But I think the biggest one, well, we know it was movement, 45 minutes a day of movement.
What
And-
kind of movement was that? Was that dancing?
It could be anything. They said even gardening, housework, and it could be 15 minutes here, 15 minutes there, and it adds up to 45 minutes.
Walking is probably the best thing
Well,
at that age.
you know what? I disagree because I think walking is very linear. And it doesn't help your joints
I agree.
this way.
Oh,
You
well.
see what I'm saying?
Yes, that's
Twisting, you
true.
need to do that. Walking, you're not doing much, you're just doing that little bit of thing. So walking's really good for the cardio, definitely.
We'll just
Um,
all go to the neighbor's lap pool every day, right?
Yeah, and swimming is really good, definitely, because it's got all of that nice, beautiful movement into the joints. Absolutely. And the other thing was really important is socializing. Socializing, right? Just being out and about, socializing. Yeah, you know, dancing, bingo, you know, they did a lot of bridge and things like that, so all of that. But one test, we're gonna do it here, I wanna see how many you're gonna pass. This is the Alzheimer's test. So if you ever go and get a test, I'm giving you the cheat sheet right now. Okay? This is it, remember it because you're gonna pass. You've gotta spell the word world backwards. Here we go.
R-O-W.
No.
Wow, you guys, let's do it again. D, W. Right. See, we get that O and the R kind of mixed up a little bit. But that is the official way of telling if people have.
Oh, I might have to practice it.
That's what I'm saying, you practice.
It's only 5
Yeah.
letters.
One-
I know, but you realize what you're doing, okay? So let's go into the cheat sheet, right? You have to imagine you see the word on a piece of paper and you're taking one word at a time and you're reading
You can
backwards.
just see it in your mind.
Right, you see? But if you're trying to memorize, that's harder than you look at the word, imagine it, even close your eyes and just start to
You all
go
have
D,
to
L.
sign on to luminosity. I
Yeah.
keep telling everyone.
I know, all of that.
It's so cool.
It's
Is
the
it-
brain,
Is
It's
it
a free gift.
fun?
yeah.
Is it fun?
Is it? Oh, it's
I don't know,
wonderful.
do you?
Yes.
You think
Fun.
it's fun? Okay.
It's very much fun because you can keep doing it over and over again and keep your scores there. And it's so much fun to see if you can do better, just for yourself.
Yeah, for yourself.
Yeah.
Okay, well, I'm gonna tell you that, I don't know if I'm gonna like that because I'm a person that I hated to have those word stories like in math. If a train is traveling
not
60
all
miles an hour and it has
it's
3
not all-
passengers, right? That's the kind of pressure I would feel
No,
with those kind of
it's
tests.
more like spelling world backwards.
Okay, so more of
So
those
there
kind
are,
of things.
say there's a grid
Yeah,
of maybe eight,
right.
but it's a small grid. And then the lights appear in a certain way. and then the lights go out and you're supposed to press what
Oh,
was
okay, so this is
there.
all right on the
So the
internet.
same as you're saying,
Mhm.
see it in your mind, I memorize it in my mind.
Yeah.
Lit.
Oh, yeah, okay. Let me tell you one more thing, because you saw the show. The other thing is you guys to be able to say a sequence of 5 numbers backwards. Oh my gosh, let's just try that. 7, 4, 2, 1, 0.
That's harder.
Can you go backwards? 0.
Zero,
One,
one, 4, 2,
I don't even know what I said.
7.
Thanks,
Seriously,
Sherry.
I'm not good at that. But
Yeah.
that's another one of those tests, and I'm sure that's on that website, right? So-
Another thing that's
Across
on Lumosity
Uh-huh.
is groups of letters like GRO. And you have to add letters to it to make words.
Oh, okay, that's like Scrabble though, I would like that.
Yes,
I
Sherry,
see.
it's
But-
just minute little
Yeah.
cognitive.
Yeah.
It's very frustrating.
I know, see, that's
with
what I'm
some
telling
of
you.
the combinations.
But then when you do it again,
Sherry?
you can repeat it, try it 5
I keep
times.
trying, yeah. Then you're training your brain to
Yes,
think
that's
that
the
way.
whole thing, you've
Yeah.
learned something new.
Right.
It's an exercise for your brain.
Yeah, exactly, yeah.
Another one of those preliminary Alzheimer's questions is counting backwards in 7 from 100. In 7.
Oh, in
Oh,
7 from
7.
100.
93, 86, 79, etc.
Oh.
Wow.
So we have to take you with us.
But you can go slow, right? Because you can do the
Yeah.
processing.
You go as slow as you like.
Yeah.
The thing to do is to be able to do it.
Right, exactly. So if you're ever bored, you guys, those are the kind of things you should be doing when you're bored, right?
They put me away with that one.
Yeah, I know, exactly. Okay, let's bring our feet up. Let's pay attention to these beautiful feet a little bit. So let's point and flex. Interesting that they say a lot of the posture problem starts with the feet, right? If the feet aren't lined up, then everything up on top of that is going to be a little bit of a problem. So one foot's pointed, and then the other foot flexes and go back and forth like that.
Well, how, if you have neuropathy in your feet, does that?
Oh, that's going to affect your posture and your gait, absolutely. Yeah.
What did
Feet
they
out.
say about
Roll the
treating?
ankles in.
Pain in my arch for a few days. What's that all about?
That
Keep
could be
having to rub it out.
That plantar fasciitis, have you ever had that?
Oh, that's
That could be what it
interesting.
is.
I had it and then it went away.
It usually is from
Good.
walking a little too much.
That's
Running.
interesting.
And then,
I tend to have it just at the very top of my foot where the.
okay, let's, speaking of feet, let's give our feet a little massage. You know, we always can go a little bit more love into the feet. So the plantar fasciitis is
That's what
fascia, right? We talk about what the fascia is, right? It's connective tissue. It is basically covers your whole body. There's a big sheath on the front side of you, and there's 2 sheaths on the back side, but both the front and the back, they meet right here
That's so
at the bottom
interesting.
of your foot. So if you're ever having a neck tightness, back tightness, sometimes just rubbing right in here. Yeah. And this loosens up the netting, and everything loosens up after that.
It's
that's the
just
idea.
down that. kind
Just
of-
right into that arch. This is exactly where that plantar, because you can feel it. It's not a bone, right? You can feel it. It's a connective tissue. It's kind of gristly in a way. I don't know what the right adjective is in that. And you should be able to make it a little pliable. It shouldn't be like really, really hard. Let's go to the other side.
So it's the center of the foot, just.
Center of the foot, and even here into the inside a little bit.
Inside of the
You can see, if you flex your foot, like bring your toes backwards, you can almost feel that a little bit more. You can feel kind of that little fibrous thing. And that's what you're trying to massage. You can go sideways, you can go up and down, you can go round and round.
Is it a ligament?
No,
No.
no, it's not. It's actually, they call it connective tissue.
And it runs
It
from
runs-
the ball of the foot to the heel?
Yeah.
Straight.
If you ever, if you guys are in Google, just go plantar fasciitis, look at the images and you'll see it. It's like amazing. But what happens sometimes is it rips and tears, and that's what hurts. That's what hurts. Yes, yes.
It what?
So it rips and tears. Yeah, so that little microscopic tears, that's what makes it hurt. Those are right there in your arch. Good, okay.
Is there an herb that helps, such
I
as
don't know.
turmeric?
I don't, sometimes they say walking too much, sometimes they say excess weight. One of the best things we can do is, make sure we have good arches. Because think about it, if you, it's shaped like an arch, right, like this. But if you have fallen arches, you're stretching that even more, right? And that's what makes it really painful. So they say downward facing dog is really good. You know, anything that does that arching, even the pointing and flexing, see the arching? So you want to always encourage the arching of the foot. Flat feet are a detriment, right? You can't even be in the military if you have flat feet, right? So we know how important our arches are. Okay, so let's close our eyes. Let's just take a moment. I just want to settle in because we're going to come to the wall and do a little something different. So just take a breath. Okay, so we're going to come to the wall. Now we're going to do it in half groups, okay, because I want to make sure we have enough. So this half, we're going to come to the wall. And what we're going to do is we're going to do triangle at the wall. So I want to get you feeling that all of your joints are lined up in the vertical plane. So there's 8 load-bearing joints: the shoulders, the hips, the knees, and the ankles. So to have good posture, everything is vertically aligned. So at the wall, we start that way, right? We start that way. So we're going to have one leg out, and I'm going to demonstrate it, and you guys are going to come. One leg is going to be out, facing towards the windows. The other foot is almost like facing inward or just slightly out. One arm's gonna come like this. And we're just gonna, like a little teapot, we're gonna go down without moving our shoulders forward. That's gonna happen. Most of the time everyone's gonna like, oh, I wanna go down further, and you're gonna be like this. So it's gonna be however far you can go until that shoulder wants to come off. And then possibly we'll go like this. And ideally, this is where I want you guys to go. Either here or all the way up. And then we've got perfect alignment of all the joints, but we're gonna go step by step with it, okay? So let's take these 6 people, right? And I think 3 people can go here, and then another 3 can go on this side. Okay, so against the wall, so you're a little straddled. Okay. You guys are gonna be watching. You're the room monitors, okay? Okay, yes. Okay, so that means it's your left foot, right? Your left foot is now facing towards the double doors. And your other foot can be, toes facing inward or slightly like that. Whatever's gonna feel good with that other foot. And you are, Carl, pointing towards that, yeah. Can you get your foot? Yeah, that's it, okay. Right hand on your hip. Shoulders back on the wall now. That's what I want everyone to feel. Everybody feel that? Yeah.
I won't go back.
I know, as best you can, okay? We're not gonna be in perfect alignment to start, but as best you can. Slide that hand down until you stop, and you're not gonna let go of that right shoulder on the wall. Yeah, how's it feel? Doesn't matter how far you go down. Everybody got that? Good. Okay, now, right hand to the right shoulder. See if you can get that elbow back. Can the elbow touch the wall or no?
Nope.
Okay,
Elbow has to touch the wall.
that's where you want to go. That's where you're aiming. You don't have to do it right now. And now, what about the hand on your head? And what about in cactus arms? Cactus arms on that wall,
And
yeah.
our head should be on the wall.
And your head could be on the wall as well. And then maybe reach up. Only if it feels okay to do that. Okay, good.
Boy, that's tough.
Yeah, it is tough. See? Good. All right. And then all the way back down, you guys. Good. All the way back down. Okay, bring your feet together.
Yeah, the other way?
Yeah, we're going to do the other way. Yes.
You
Okay?
don't want
So,
to.
other way. That's why we do it against the wall, because ideally this pose is done standing, right? And it's done like this. But the wall reminds us that we want to keep it nice and straight. Okay, so now what we got? We got right foot facing the opposite way, left foot maybe forward or not. Okay? Other hand to the hip, so that means right hand to the hip. Left hand to the hip, sliding down, sliding down. Try to keep that left shoulder out against the wall.
Hips against the wall, Sherry?
Left shoulder against the wall.
Hips against.
Yeah, you got it. Yeah. This shoulder, is this your back shoulder? You're good. Okay, see, that's the sensation I want you to have. Good. Good. Now, hand on your shoulder. Yeah, that's it. Good, Nancy. And the elbow's trying to go back. Remember, the elbow's trying to go back. Yeah. Good. What about on your head? With the elbow going back. And then only if it feels okay, cactus arms or arms straight. I just want you to see all the variations that we're trying to get that arm to go and to open up the shoulders. Good, and then come all the way down. All right, very good. Come back to their chairs. Good job, everybody.
Well, you're right, the center right here is not too tight.
Yeah, right, that's what we're working on. That is what we're working on, right here, that whole chest cavity. We're trying to get that nice and open, so you're gonna stand nice and tall. Okay, so you guys, oh, you already went, huh? All right, so we go 2 and 2.
I either didn't work this enough, because this is where I feel that I'm.
Boy, I'm really excited.
Mhm.
I want to get my shoulder
Right.
back.
Come here. Can you go over there? Take that other hand, see this leg is straight? Just like this straight. Take this hip out and then slide down. Do you want me to put your shoulder?
Oh, I see.
That, see?
Oh,
Yeah, because you want that hip to move.
Oh,
That's,
okay.
I'm gonna give them that cue, see? Okay, that's a good point. She brought up a really good point. Okay, so here we go. Right foot facing the window. Right. Oh, sorry, left. You're right. Okay. Left foot facing the window. Try to make it parallel if you can. The rest you can. Remember the back foot can be even angled in a little bit. Move your hips a little bit towards the center of the room. Good. Now,
Squeeze it.
left hand on your, right hand on your hip. Okay. Left hand, you're gonna slide down your leg, and you actually, Nancy brought this up, you actually take your right hip up a little bit, and you slide down. Yeah. Okay, so now, how's that right shoulder feeling against the wall? You touching it? That's good, Marilyn, good, okay? You got it, okay,
My
now.
shoulder replacement won't let me.
Yeah, well, of course, that makes sense, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so now, right hand to the right shoulder, try to keep the elbow back a little bit, yeah. Right hand to the head. Elbows back, maybe arm in cactus, and maybe straight arm. Just fine, just whatever's gonna feel like you can get that, okay? And then release it, good, all the way down. Good, good, okay, now come back to the center, let's just march that out, get that little sensation out.
It
Okay,
hurts,
here we go.
Michael.
Other way.
It hurts.
Yeah, and that's the whole thing, don't do it when it hurts, I don't wanna hear that.
I was stressing.
Yeah, oh my
I
gosh.
can do it.
That's the yellow deli doing their thing. Oh, no, maybe it's not. No, maybe it's you doing your thing. No, okay. All right. I'm like, wait, what happened? Okay, here we go. Right foot facing that way, left foot forward. Okay, left hand to the hip. Move that left hip back a little bit behind you and then slide your hand down. Okay, so this might be the perfect way for you guys to start, okay?
That's good.
Yeah. Marilyn? Oh, I know. So that might be a good way to start, right? If that's hurting your shoulders already, that's where you stop. Now you progress. You're gonna take your hand to the shoulder, right? Maybe move that elbow back a little bit. See, that's why the wall is kind of your guide. And then you can take it to your head, and maybe to cactus arms, maybe up. Just stop when it feels okay. Good.
Go that way.
Beautiful. Okay, good. And then all the way back. Good. That's okay. That's okay. And bring it. Okay, and shake it out. My back.
I got the same cramp she did.
Yeah.
Now,
Well,
is
you don't-
this something that would be valuable to do? Or
This is triangle at the wall. Absolutely. It's one of a very fundamental poses of yoga. Where's Laura?
Sharon?
Right, Laura? Don't we do it all the time in other classes? Yeah.
I'm
You guys
not-
have a seat.
I'm never quite sure if the really ideal goal is to have shoulders and hips at the wall, not necessarily.
The ideal goal is to have your joints aligned. Okay, so that's what this is doing.
So
Right,
the
that's
wall's
what it's
just there
doing.
for
The wall's there to remind you that this is vertical, right? This is the
Are
alignment
both
we
your
want.
shoulders touching?
Yeah. But okay,
in a perfect world.
and I want you to know that you guys, you have 30 years on me, okay? You have 30 years on me, so don't ever feel like, oh my gosh, she can do it and I can't. It's just an awareness of that is kind of the feeling that you want to start having in your body if you want to start having better posture. It's not going to come overnight. But these are the things that we are doing in order to feel that expansiveness.
Question, when trying to extend, should that be on the exhale or the inhale?
Exhales, always on the deepest part of any stretch. Yes.
When stretching?
Right, when stretching.
No
Because that
exceptions to that?
exhale- There's probably a couple.
But we won't go there.
Yes, because really, when we go like this, inhale, we're inhaling up, and then we're exhaling down. So that is, the inhale helps propel emotion, right? But we are stretching that too, right? So the inhale's up. But if we were in cactus, the exhale is gonna be in the cactus stretch. And the exhale cactus stretch.
So just in a straightforward cactus, you go to the position, inhale,
Inhale,
and then as you attempt to extend,
exhale.
exhaling all the time.
Right, and that's why this one is kind of good. I know Paula does, it's called bellows, where she goes inhale, exhale. Right, inhale, so you get that sensation of what the inhale is doing and the exhale. Okay, but then we can go the opposite, we go exhale and inhale.
Yeah, there you've exhaled,
And
exhaled
exhale
in
is
the greatest
stretch.
effort.
Right, so sometimes, I guess what I can say is it depends, right? Because sometimes you could go the opposite way, you can exhale, or you can go inhale, because you're broadening the chest and then broadening the breath. With the inhale and exhale, you're releasing the breath.
I hate to split hairs, but
Yeah.
which technique or which option will be most beneficial to get a
Exhaling,
better stretch?
exhaling, exhaling.
Exhale on the stretch.
Mhm.
Thank you.
Yeah, yeah,
I have a hard time getting my elbows
yeah,
shaking.
yeah. Tight, tight, tight back muscles, really tight. Because feel that, if everybody goes like this, what muscles are we stretching? Aren't we stretching right here? Right across
Yeah.
this? That's what
Across the
they're feeling, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So those are all just tight, right? So that's why we do this a little bit the opposite, and just start to stretch. You know, Justine is really good at always reminding us that we need to move our muscles in order to get circulation in them, and then they'll start to move and stretch and be more resilient. So all these movements are good. Holding something makes them stronger. So when you're holding like this, we're holding, strengthening the bicep muscles, right? And then when we're releasing with a breath and we're stretching back, then that opens up the muscles and stretches them. So there's so many different ways, and I know that you guys go to a lot of yoga classes, there's so many different poses and each one is for a different purpose. But if, you know, go back to Michael's question is, if I want to stretch this muscle, that's the one we're talking about the most, that, you know, we're talking about posture, then that's the exhale. That's the exhale in everything that you do. Okay.
And the constant stretching is really no different from what younger people, athletes do, for example.
Right.
They're
They're
always
always-
stretched before they do
Yeah.
whatever their thing is.
Right. And the thing is that that's gonna keep your joints safe too, because if you have muscles that are so strong and locked, you know, they're locked, right, so strong, they're pulling on your bones, you know, in a way that could be precarious. So you wanna make sure that you make that muscle strong, but then you stretch the muscle out. And then you make it strong, and you stretch it out. That's what creates tone in a muscle, right? See, when we go like this, we're strengthening it. We can feel that. We can feel that muscle strengthen. And then when we release it, we're stretching it. We're making it long. So
Strength with flexibility.
Strength with flexibility is gonna keep your joints safe, right? Otherwise, they always say that weightlifters have very precarious bones. You know, so you've gotta have flexible muscles and strong muscles. Good, all right.
Sherry,
So,
did they show the tray at all? That's such a simple movement.
the tray, I love the tray. Let's do that one. That's a good idea, because this one is so good for the shoulders.
Start to
You know,
remember
you can
all
do
of
cactus a lot and it gets a little boring, but tray is really just kind of a pleasurable one, right? So let's take the palms up, and the idea is you're never gonna spill anything, so the palms always have to face up. So we're gonna come up and up and up, bring them up. Now you can turn them inward, that just gets your wrist to move, but you can be like this, it's okay, but moving in is a little bit better for the wrist, good. Bring it back down, so you're coming back with the tray, but then you tuck it under and you pull it all the way back. Now look at that shoulder rotation that we've got going on there, right? All the way back, we're opening up the shoulders, we're bringing them all the way up, so this works the rotator cuff muscles. There's 4 muscles in the rotator cuff, and all of them are getting nice and stretched and healthy, all the way out and up again.
So beautiful.
Yeah, it is. It's just such a fluid movement. I love this movement. And then bring it back. Now the other one that's a little trickier, but let's try it. It's called the teacup, so it's only one hand. And we make a figure 8 with our arm and our shoulder, but the teacup's gotta be facing the ceiling, so it goes like this, up, and then we swirl it around. So watch that wrist, and swirl it under, and then bring it back to the teacup. In front. Yeah, hard, huh? Up. Figure 8, just think about it, number 8 that we're making, right? Around and back. And one more time, up, around, and back, and down. Good, let's do the other arm. No, this is gonna be hard. Okay, here we go. This is where it makes us smart, right? Up, around, down, and back, and up. around. See, now walking is never gonna get us this kind of mobility, is it? Right?
No.
That's why we do things like this, because this keeps our joints healthy all the way around. And we could just say, like, why do we care about healthy joints? Well, we know we care about our healthy shoulders because we don't want this to happen, right? And I have just a couple of new people in the class, so I do want to point this out. And we'll catch this in your photos. Be very aware of when you're standing. And if your arms are at all coming in like this, with your backs of your hands forward, that means your shoulders are rolled forward in the joints, which starts to create this, right? So you want to feel that your shoulders are back and down and the palms always face inward. Always face inward when you're standing. Catch yourself when you're standing in line. See what's going on. Sometimes I see some people one arm forward and not. So that's just an awareness. If you're like this, you just go, oh yeah. You can just find that. You can find right now, even sitting in the chair, both arms dangling because we don't have arms. You can just go like this, a little forward. Everybody feel that in your shoulders, right?
Mhm.
Versus this. Palms facing in, not out. Palms facing in, yeah. Don't find yourself doing that, right? Find yourself doing that. That simple movement. All right, we're done, you guys. That's it. That hour went fast to me, I don't know. All right, so what we're gonna do is we're gonna do a Shavasana. And we started this class, I think 2 months ago, with the idea of we wanna get down on the floor as often as we can. And the reason is, first of all, because we want to be strong enough to come up and down off the floor, but the really second reason is because when we're down flat on the floor, this is the best way for gravity to support a nice straight posture. Look at this, hips, shoulders, head, ears, all in alignment, right? So when you're like this, gravity does all the work for you. Then you can go like this with one arm, maybe this with one arm, or both arms. But if you're ever like this, and you're laying like this, and your arms are just kind of like struggling, then you don't want to do that, because that's a little too much. Right, so if you want to come down to the floor, feel free to do that. Otherwise, you can stay in the chair. Give about 5 minutes. lifting up above your heart. It's one of the best things you can do for your circulation and for the health of your heart. So just know that all that blood from the tips of your toes just made its way back to the heart. Perfect circulation. So start to bend your knees, take them off the chair, if you've got them on the chair, and roll off to the right, and you'll stay there for about 3 or 4 breaths. So just take that transition, the whole right side of you kind of on the floor. Open your eyes and start to use your arms to press yourself up. You can come to kneeling any way you want to. You've got your chair there, so you can just grab a hold of your chair. You use your muscles of independence to get up off the floor. So those are going to be your thigh muscles. Okay? So bring your hands to your heart. We'll take this little pause here. We close our eyes and bow our heads. Always taking this moment just to take that appreciation for our bodies, everything that our body can still do for us. Talking about independence, we need to have a nice, strong body to be independent. So I'm thanking that body for all it does. Thank you all for your dedication to your practice, to your health. Namaste. 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 Neighbors,
So happy I made it.
Good, I'm so glad you did.